in my infinite quest for a new VCR to replace my 20-year-old RCA, actually 23-year-old RCA, backtrack a little bit. The RCA works fine, but I'm finding that the picture kind of shifts a little bit when it plays back its own recorded tapes, and these are on new tapes. The other thing is, it's only a 2-head mono model, so the sound quality is awful. The video quality could be better, and so I went over to Savers and I found this. This is a Sony. What model is this? SLV-N55. This is a great little VCR. I know this because I used to have one. I actually bought one of these brand new in about 2003. No, 2004. And actually November of 2004 to be exact. And I got rid of it a couple years ago when I stopped using VHS. So I gave it away or sold it on eBay, I'm not sure which, and I kind of wish I hadn't. But this one I got for $7, and I tested it in the store and it actually worked. So I also picked this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 VHS tapes, 6-hour tapes. Pretty sweet. I actually still use my VCR. I record stuff off television when I won't be around to watch it. I don't have any desire to offer Comcast any more of my hard-earned money so that they can force me to rent a DVR. I just don't believe that I should be giving them any more money. So I refuse to rent a DVR. I refuse to pay for an HD box. I just refuse. I will not, absolutely will never rent a modem from them. Comcast is probably the most evil company in the world. So I have combated my anti-Comcastness by using a VCR to record shows that I either won't be aired later on, or I just want to, like for example, live TV news. Not that I watch the local news, but things like that. It's nice to have something to record onto. Now I'm going to shut up and we're going to plug it in. We're going to actually take the cover off and take a look inside just to see if there's anything living in there, or if anything I should know about, drugs or. A lot of people use VCRs to store valuables, and you just don't want to. Who steals a VCR, right? No, I'm kidding. I made that up. Anyway, just take the 2 screws. That's all that holds the cover on. I actually took mine apart for no reason at all when I had it, but I don't know if it really works. I haven't tested it for video quality. I put a tape in it, I listen to it run, I fast forward, rewind the tape, and then, make my decision from there. Everything seemed to check out okay. Unfortunately, I don't have a remote for it, so I think I can get one real cheap. So that's not really a big concern. So this is one of Sony's last VCR models, and it's pretty evident that the quality isn't what it used to be in this particular model. The case is extremely flimsy. If you watch my last video, the Hitachi from 1981, I believe it was, or 82, it was built like a tank. Well, that's not so with this particular VCR. It's actually built quite poorly, I'll be honest. But this one looks pretty clean. Obviously, not from a smoker's household. I mean, it is absolutely pristine in here. It'd be really funny if this actually turned out to be the one I sold. That wouldn't surprise me. The head is in good shape. There's a few smudges on it. I'm going to clean that up. Yeah, there's actually quite a few smudges on there. So I'm going to clean that by hand with a clean towel. Not a towel, but a chamois. And So once that gets cleaned up, clean the audio head. There's some filth on it. This actually has an automatic head cleaner that is incredibly useless. It's this device right here. And when you eject the tape, here I'll put a tape in it and you can see what I mean. What it does is it brushes up against the head. And let me go grab. This actually has automatic clock setting. It only works if it's hooked up to a local TV station. That's where it gets its signal. I don't think that service is still available. Tape in. Oh shit. That was a brand new tape, you know. Valuable lesson, kids. If you move a VCR from a cold place to a warm one, a couple of things you want to do first. I guess I didn't let it sit long enough. Unfortunately, I didn't see any moisture on it, so that's alright. We didn't hurt anything. Let me go grab something to clean the head with. Alright, so I just cleaned the heads by hand, and they are a little chilly, and that is what happened here. And by the way, this is an 8-hour tape, so the tape is ultra thin, which is why that happened. VCRs used to have what was called a dew sensor, and it actually sensed condensation. And if it sensed any condensation, the machine would not accept a tape. Unfortunately, this VCR does not have that feature, and it caught me off guard. But we'll take a good look at this mechanism while we're here. It's pretty straightforward. It is still a stamped steel chassis. I mean, I guess they did that up until the end. But this is much better quality than anything you'll find with a Magnavox or Philips or Sanyo stamp on the front. The unit did play when I put it in when I had it in the store, so I have every reason that every reason to believe that this unit is a functioning unit, which is pretty rare for savers because it's really more of a dumping ground for stuff that doesn't work. Seriously, that's been my luck with savers lately. Just stuff that should have been thrown away instead of donated for a tax write-off, but people have no scruples, so they do stuff like that. And of course, savers doesn't know how to test things half the time, so they don't bother, which is kind of upsetting. But that's the world we live in. It's kind of like caveat emptor, which is why I'll never buy anything from savers that costs what I could. If I can pay that much on eBay and get one that I know works, then I will do that. Often their prices are so far off the mark that, you know. But I figured for $7, I can't go wrong. I mean, if it works, you know, it may last me the rest of my VHS days, which are not over yet. But anyway, this is a pretty straightforward mechanism. It's so simple and so cheap. But one of the bad things about them is the automatic head cleaner. Because when you eject the tape, it brushes up against the upper drum, and they've been known to tear out heads. They're actually more harm than good. The one that I had, I actually took the head cleaner out, and I just taped it to the inside of the cabinet if I ever decided to put it back on. It really is quite useless. I don't know why those ever became a standard feature on Sony decks, but here's the cam assembly. Normally you find them underneath the deck, or somewhere in this vicinity. But this is the drive motor for the entire system. The entire transport is driven by this one motor. Similar to a Funai from the 90s, which was quite common. But yeah, pretty straightforward. This gear looks like it's designed to shear off if it ever jams. You can see that it was intentionally designed with breaking points. So I believe that if anything were to go wrong, this gear would break. And that would be it for the machine. Once the head reaches room temperature, I can put a tape in it and we'll test it out. This is the optical sensor that senses the tape position. Because it actually corresponds to this hole here, and there are metallic or reflective, I think there's like a reflective band somewhere on each reel, and once it sees that reflective band, it knows the tape is over. The tape speed sensor is right, they are underneath these reels. I can pull the whole deck off for you, so you can see what that looks like. It's just held in by like one screw. So we'll do. I lied. You've got to take the faceplate off first. You can get a good look at the display here. It's oversimplified. It just shows you whether it's on timer or not, whether it's playing on hi-fi mode or not, and whether there's a tape in or not. Plus, there's play, rewind, fast forward. That all shows up on that display as well. To remove the deck, you just take out, I believe it's only like 4 screws. There's 2 in the back. I know I took the deck out of mine for some reason. I don't know why I did that. It's also good to note that this machine was manufactured during capacitor gate, and I want to take a look at all the capacitors to make sure none of them are blown apart, and they all look pretty good to me. You know, I really believe that somebody bought this machine as a just the very last VCR they ever bought, and they never used it. They probably let it sit on the shelf and collect dust. Maybe played a couple of old Disney tapes on it for their grandkids or some stupid thing like that. Or they're like me and they bought it at the very tail end of the VCR's popularity, and when DVD players were still just a little bit out of reach for most people. And I actually worked at Walmart when I bought mine, so I got the employee discount. That was kind of nice. I'm trying to remember exactly when I bought it, and I think it was in November. I know it was November, but it was in 2003, not 2004, but that's when I bought the one I had. That was the last VCR I ever bought. That was the only VCR I ever bought, come to think of it. Huh. Alright, so there's one more screw back here. I'm going to try not to scratch the upper drum while I'm taking it out. But my God, is this thing cheap. I mean, really, it's just, you know, they wanted to continue making VCRs just while they could still sell them. So they did, and this is what they came up with. Oh, there's another screw here. And another one, and another one. I'm only taking this off for your benefit. What a nice guy. Alright, to lift it off, I'm going to have to put the camera down. And we'll have liftoff. So I'm going to put the camera right here on this VHS tape. There we go. It should just pull right out. I know there's some connectors in the bottom. That'll have to be undone. Hopefully there aren't any. It's not plugged in, right? Good. Right. There we go. There's that one. And there's that one. So now we can just pull it right out. Just like so. Pick up this screw. Now, it's just amazing how cheap the construction has come. In fact, you can still buy a VCR today. I know they still make them. They're sold primarily to businesses who still use cassette tapes for archival purposes. You know, they're still sold at churches and schools. As a school district, I can buy a VCR from one of the vendors that deals with our supplies. Brand new in the box. The old Panasonic commercial line is what they're selling now. But this is it, man. That's all there is to it. Very simple design, very effective. I mean, it does work. I mean, they managed to basically strip out all the components that were not completely necessary for function. And I mean, even the belt is still good, nice and springy. not mushy at all. Here's the main board. One big giant board. One thing you've got to worry about when you pull these apart, this is the cam sensor, or the position sensor. If that gets out of alignment, you're gonna have a hard time. So when you have the mechanism out, just make sure that it lines up correctly. It looks like it lines up with this here, and when this little notch here has to face backwards. No, wait. No, that's not it. What does it line up with? Ah, it lines up with this gear here. So make sure that this little hole faces forward. Yeah. If you get it out of time, you're going to have a bad time. All right. The other thing they've done is they've started mounting a lot of the sensors directly to the board, and they just poke through certain key holes in the mechanism, or the transport mechanism. You've got these are your tape speed sensors, or real speed sensors, and they run off of, where are the reels on this thing? Well, that's what they are. They stick through these cutouts, and there's a little fork. There's actually little notches in that wheel, and it uses the optical sensor to sense the notches. There's one in the other. And these are your tape end sensors. That's how it knows when the tape is over. We've got these things here. These are micro switches, I think. No, they are optical sensors. Probably to sense probably positions and stuff and such. What else do we have in here? Of course, there's our transport position sensor, and that's about it. I mean, there's really nothing to it. So let's put it back together. The board revision date is 2002, 2/19 of 2002. I wanted to point out this one here. This is, and of course, once again, mounted directly to the board, is the record tab knockout sensor. Yep. In the old days, all of these sensors and switches and other components would have been mounted to the transport mechanism, and then they would have wires connecting everything together. So by doing it this way, they've not only saved money in wire, just wire alone, they've saved the bundle, but they saved money in assembly as well, because in the old days, they would be assembled in a line. One person would mount the upper drum, then it would go to the guy who mounts all the, the spindles and the cap stand, then it'd go to the next line where they'd add the sensors and belts, and I mean just all those steps. And then you'd have like 3, maybe 4 different circuit boards, sometimes 5 or 6 circuit boards depending on the machine. And each one would have to be manufactured, designed, modified, it's just, and the number of components, just mind-boggling. So, I mean, they did the right thing by designing a cheaper, easier to build machine. It sucks, but, because you don't have the same quality that you had in the old days. And I think even reliability may have improved just because of the simplicity of the design. The reliability of the machine overall, would have improved. In my lifetime, I've owned 3 VCRs, brand new VCRs. My first one, brand new, was actually a TV VCR combo that my parents bought me for I think it was my 12th birthday. And I had that machine well into high school. Actually, I think I got rid of it when I graduated. The VCR had finally kicked the bucket, and all that went wrong with it, though, was a tape end sensor. It was a Funai product, and the tape end sensor had failed. But I got a lot of use out of that machine. I recorded almost day and night. I was recording stuff off television. I would set my timer every day or for the week And once a week I'd set my timer, and then I'd record all the shows that I couldn't see when I was at school. And I come home and I watch them, while I'm doing my homework. I had a lot of fun with that thing, but it didn't last forever, and eventually I think my sister killed it off. That's usually what happened. I'd get something new, and then eventually it'd go to her and she'd kill it. It's a thing we had. So I'm going to just put the rest of this together, and we're gonna power it up and see it run. Alright, let's give it another try. Again, this is the same brand new tape that we tried earlier. I'm going to stop it. Stop, 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 stop. Oh, no, it's okay. It was alright. This is, by the way, the stop position. If I turn it off, it should replace the tape back into the... Good. Turn it back on again. I'm going to let it play. Good. Stop. Fast forward. Now this is kind of a design flaw that I wouldn't call it a flaw so much as I would call it an undocumented feature. But it has high speed rewind and fast forward, as you can clearly see. But if you'll notice, the tape is still wrapped around the head. That's a lot of stress on the upper drum. I just don't like that. I think it's a terrible design. Look at how fast this thing goes. I remember mine was just incredibly fast. That's an 8-hour tape. They call it flash rewind. And it's really good about sensing the spindle speed because it's slowing down already, so that it doesn't rip the tape right off the spindle. And we're going to rewind. Oh, this doesn't have auto rewind. I think it does if it's turned on. I think that's a setting in the setup menu. So let's rewind it. I want to get that in action while we're here. Play. Stop. Rewind. And we're going to eject. Okay, we'll put the tape back in. I'll get a quick clip of that head cleaner in action. Kind of useless. See what I mean? Every time it does a transport action, it seems. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, we have a menu. That's a good thing. Tape select T120. Alright. That's okay, that's normal. We go back to menu. Alright. We have to actually have the tuner We gotta get the tuner set up on this thing first so that it can actually... The only channel that works right now is channel 3 because I'm running through a cable box. So let that do its thing. What I find interesting is that I'm finding, like... so far I found about 5 different analog channels that are still broadcasting the History channel. Okay, we're going to try playing a tape that I'm currently watching. I started it on the RCA, and let's see if it, well, it plays. Got the clock set. Alright. I hear noise. Oh, that went away. No. If I pause it, because this is a forehead, it should be, like, amazing. And so far it is. Oh yeah, that's what a forehead does. That was cool. Let's do that again. Watch carefully. Nice. Alright, so we got her going, and things are good.
You got the official 77.
Alright, now what we're going to do is try to record on one of my new tapes. Throw that away, that tape's gone. Grab my tape. Ah, there it is. Let's see how she records, shall we? Alright, what I gotta do is actually set the machine to the proper tape speed using my remote, which is over here. And that's done through the setup menu. The wrong menu, that's the TV. Auxiliary menu. Alright, advanced options. Tape select, we got T160, T120, T180, T160. And that just sets the tape speed for record. That's all it does. Power save, that's all good. Okay. Now we'll record. We'll let this record for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to play it back and see how it.
Clouds are air.
I think we have a problem here.
The clouds in heaven are like trampolines. I don't like trampolines.
It actually sounds quite bad.
Stop worrying. Heaven is a beautiful place with sunshine and rainbow.
Oh my god. It's worse than the RCA. I mean, like, really bad. Like, awful. I wonder if I have bad tapes. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna try a different tape here. Because the other tapes are all like this. I think they're just bad tapes. Well, I tried a different tape at a lower speed, or a higher speed, I should say. And, yeah, not doing so well. I'm getting a lot of shaking, and I'm wondering if it might be some kind of some manipulation of the signal that Comcast is doing in their cable boxes that prohibits you from, you know, recording. So, I don't know. I don't know. Let's try a different tape speed and see if that changes.
I do what any expert dad would do. I let her play sheriff.
So, here's the deal, guys. This has been filled with a bucket load of failure. While I'm trying to turn the TV down, and I hate these. You keep changing the function of the remote. Yeah, whatever. Well, not happy to report this, but the Sony, even though it does work, technically, it sucks. I can't get it to record a stable picture. And the RCA for 1990 or 89 just does that much of a better job. And based on that, I'm going to have to keep this VCR for forever, I guess, until I find a better one. So that's it, guys. I mean, the Sony just plain sucks. And not only that, but when you press play, for the first second or two of tape play, you hear this high-pitched buzzing sound. So there's something going on with that thing. It's junk. So we're just going to use the old RCA. It works. It does the job. It's never had any trouble at all as long as I've owned it, and it just plain works. So we're going to go ahead and eject this tape, or not eject it, but stop it, and rewind. Let's see if that worked. I have it on SLP, which is low quality mode. High or long tape play, but low quality. But look at how perfect this picture is. It's not really shaking. It's a little off, but I mean it's crisp, it's clear, and that's in SLP. Now, if I do a short play recording and let's see how that looks. This thing is just dead nuts reliable. I mean, I can't justify swapping it out with a different machine. I just can't. So that's it, man. Alright, let's see how this thing how it records on SP mode. And for those of you not familiar with what that is, VCRs typically have 2 to 3 recording speeds, and the higher tape speed usually equals higher video quality, but shortened record time on a blank tape, whereas the lower speed setting is, yeah, this is pretty good. Where the lower speed setting is, see how the picture kind of stabilizes perfectly? That's what we're looking for. So if a 23-year-old VCR can do a better job at recording than a 10-year-old VCR, that just tells you right there that, well, that's kind of a problem. So anyway, as I was saying, the shorter, or the SLP mode is the longest play mode, meaning it has the most amount of recording time for one tape. So there's your lesson for today. We're going to shut the TV down, and I'm going to clean my house up a little bit. It's kind of a mess. You know what? I might just go to bed. It's getting kind of late. So